Critical thinking gets thrown around a lot, but what does it actually mean? Well, today we're going to break it down because it's not just some buzzword, it's pretty much the key to unlocking your full potential. Let's dive in. So, have you ever looked at someone and just wondered, how do they do it? How did they handle all these complex problems and tough decisions with so much confidence? Well, I'll tell you, the secret almost always comes down to how they think. And right off the bat, let's clear something up. Critical thinking is not about being negative or just arguing with everyone. Not at all. It's more like a disciplined process of hitting the pause button on your immediate reactions, stepping back and really looking at a situation from all the angles to make a solid, well-reasoned call. And here's the best part, honestly. This is not some special gift you're either born with or you're not. Nope, it's a skill. And you should think of it just like a muscle. The more you work it out, the stronger it gets. And that means anyone, and I mean anyone, can build this strength. So where do we even begin this mental workout? Well, it starts by looking inward. See, to think critically about the world out there, you first have to understand the hidden traps and, the blind spots that are lurking inside your own mind. And these traps, they have a name: cognitive biases. Basically, our brains create these little mental shortcuts to deal with the insane amount of information we see every day. And they're totally natural. They often help us. But when we really need to think deeply, these same shortcuts can lead to systematic errors that totally cloud our judgment, and we don't even realize it's happening. Let's look at 3 really common ones. First, confirmation bias. You ever get that aha, I knew it feeling when you read something that confirms your view, even though you've seen other stuff that disagrees? Yep, that's it. Or what about the anchoring effect? That's when the first price you see for a car kind of sets the bar for the entire negotiation. And then there's the availability heuristic. This is why a dramatic plane crash sticks in our minds way more than a simple car accident, making us completely misjudge the actual risk. Confirmation bias really does act like a filter. Your brain literally goes out of its way to find stuff that supports what you already believe, while pretty much ignoring anything that might challenge it. Just becoming aware that this mental filter exists is the first and honestly the most crucial step to overcoming it. Okay, so once you start spotting your own blind spots, it's time to gear up. It's time to build your mental toolkit. So let's look at the actual tools you'll need to construct really solid arguments, and, just as importantly, to take apart the faulty ones. The number one tool in that box is logical reasoning. This is the absolute backbone of critical thought. It's all about looking at the starting points of an argument, the evidence, and then following them to a conclusion that actually makes sense. It's the skill that separates a wild guess from a conclusion that's actually backed up by facts. But hey, it's not just about building good arguments. You got to be able to spot the bad ones too. And these logic traps or fallacies, they are everywhere, especially online. I mean, think about it. Somebody attacks a person's character instead of their idea. That's ad hominem. Or they frame a really complex issue like there are only 2 extreme choices. Learning to spot these tactics is like having a superpower in any debate or discussion. But, having all the right tools isn't quite enough. You also need the right mindset to use them. An evidence-based mindset is really built on 3 pillars. You need curiosity, to always ask why. You need open-mindedness, to actually consider answers that might challenge what you think. And you need intellectual humility, the ability to just say, you know what, I don't know everything. All right, with our tools and mindset ready to go, let's actually apply them. Life's biggest challenges can often feel like this giant tangled knot, right? But with a systematic approach, we can start to unravel even the most complicated problems one little thread at a time. There's a really proven method for this, and it follows a clear path. First, you've got to define the real problem, not just the symptom that's bothering you. Then you gather your facts. After that, you brainstorm all the possible solutions you can think of. No judgment yet. Then you can start to evaluate the options. And finally, you act, but you also have to monitor the results. It's this simple but incredibly powerful loop. And this quote, this really gets to the core of it. Think about it. If you define your problem as, I need a better hammer, then all your solutions are going to involve hammers. But what if you define it as, I need to join these 2 pieces of wood? Suddenly you might invent something totally new. The way you frame the problem completely dictates the solutions you can come up with. But look, using these tools and methods, it's not always going to be easy. To make critical thinking a real lifelong practice, you're going to need something else: resilience. This is what helps you handle setbacks, learn when you mess up, and just keep getting stronger as a thinker. I absolutely love this metaphor. Resilience isn't about being rigid and refusing to move. That's how things snap under pressure. No, it's about being like an oak tree, strong and deeply rooted, but also flexible enough to bend when the wind blows hard. It's that ability to face a tough situation and not just survive it, but actually come out stronger on the other side. A huge part of that resilience comes from what psychologists call a growth mindset. It's this core belief that your intelligence isn't some fixed thing. You can get smarter, you can learn new skills. And with this mindset, a challenge is no longer a test you might fail, it's an opportunity you get to learn from. Failure isn't the final word, it's just feedback. And when you put them side by side, the difference is it's stark, isn't it? A fixed mindset, well, it leads to playing it safe and staying stuck. But a growth mindset, that leads to embracing challenges, learning from every single outcome, and just constantly developing. This right here is the engine of personal growth. It's the foundation of a truly resilient thinker. So it all comes back to a question for you. Mastering critical thinking is a journey, for sure. And it starts with a simple decision. The decision to challenge your own assumptions, to build your toolkit, and to see every problem as a chance to grow. So the only real question left is, are you ready to start?